Okay, we all live. I'm going to walk you through the applications, particularly understanding chatbot from the viewpoint of interoperability. Uh, we would be focusing on few of the pattern applications, and particularly, um, I want to touch base on the topic of um artificial intelligence in terms of artificial light, because loads of data sets are being uh, developed right now, and those data sets itself is not solving the problem of the SGD goals, which is to be sustainable. Now, one thing is very important. The understanding of sustainability is, it needs a recheck. I mean, maybe anyone and everyone, and particularly with the family offices, because these family offices have been funding startups, which has been a total failure in terms of the returns on the investment. So ROI has been negative. I would rather say very negative in every manner, because if we talk about the sectors in India, I'll like to touch base on the education sector, because the education sector for the longest time has been broken. Not because of the paradox we live in, it's just that every child, every kid is different, and you cannot be giving one syllabus to all and saying that you have to pass this exam, then only you qualify in terms of the grading process. And particularly, we need to look into the grading process of St. Francis DCL School, which is based out in Janapuri, New Delhi, because they had this very weird way of grading the students A1, A2, B1, B2, because it's very paramount in the sense a lot of funding has been given to these people. A lot of folks have raised funds who are alumni of the school somewhere or the other. And the data set, which is mind boggling to my AI, because I have a lot of AI bots looking into the data in the online world and trying to figure out why this is happening. And particularly, folks whose relatives are CA and CS, in terms of understanding the market dynamics, the numbers, because a lot of manipulation can be done in terms of whatever and wherever. Because I was looking onto their websites also, apart from the fact they have been funded by China in many ways. Even I have been funded in terms of the kind of blockchain we have developed, but the funding is based in China. It's not coming to India, because blockchain is nothing to do with words. People have been just using words and thinking that that is interoperability. No, that is not interoperability in terms of the blockchain. So I will be going through some of the pattern applications and explaining that process. And very clearly, one of the data set is very clear that I already talked about, that when we talk about the interoperability of understanding the data set of how technology has been adopted. Even I'm not talking about internet. I think St. Francis DCL School, based out in Janapuri, in those days, I mean, it was one of its kind in Delhi. Um, Even I think it was better than the others, the other convent schools in Delhi, because being in a position of what I was, and traveling all the Delhi schools because of the kind of work I was doing at that point of time. So it becomes very important and paramount to understand those data sets. Having said that, we are going to just concentrate on the inter or intra for the day. And particularly, we have to tackle the dark web, which is coming from which is coming from Maharashtra. Those data sets are very clear. I have already given the data set. Even Korea is involved in many ways. This person is basically from Busan, and it's very simple to look into the data set, because um, the population of Busan is not much. So there are very few family clans. So you can just look into the data set and see who this person is, what happened, and um If the fiat currency wants to be returned to me, I'm happy to take that, or otherwise, whatever the authorities decide. Because this data set was made to be utilized now, because we as CERT, so I'm international CERT, and international CERT are professionals who look into any kind of data set, whether that data set is coming from the family members also. So obviously, we are doing surveillance first on our family members. I mean, in terms of anyone and everyone who is talking what, and because the kind of work we do, we have to be very, very. I won't say we have to. We don't have to be careful. It's just that we don't have to disclose stuff. So our communication with family members is very less in terms of the discussion. Though I was asked yesterday where I stay right now. So although I stay with my family, I just stay to stay, not having a conversation right now, because the kind of work we are doing, it needs a lot of diligence and practice to overcome the current state of the dark web, because this dark web is also replicated in the offline world. So it's always better to have control over your own self rather than trying to change the other party. So that's another observation which I have made in the last couple of hours, or I would rather say last whatever hours, that just concentrate on the subject and negate everybody else, and particularly the bloodlines and the family members, because somewhere or the other they will try to intervene, because they also have their own protocols, they also have their own professions. So each profession, and particularly in India, we are governed by some protocol or the other. Army has a protocol, navy has a protocol, doctors have a protocol, lawyers have a protocol, and particularly patent agents, they don't have any protocol. They are just trying to pull each other down, and that is one reason Indian patent agents are being targeted by anyone and everyone, particularly the startups. um, that being said, I'll just walk you through few pattern applications. And before I walk you through the applications, another thing which is very important, I don't understand, people are talking about sustainability now. This whatever I'm wearing, this is Bebow, maybe from 2007, 2008, 2009, I don't know, because sustainability is not, again, buying things. Sustainability is not tearing things. Sustainability has nothing to do with cutting things. Sustainability first is to have a good thought process. It's nothing to do with buying. I don't understand why people use this four-letter word, VIBE. That doesn't make any sense. Sustainability is always to first being good to your own self, and once you are able to achieve that kind of wisdom, you are able to do some justice to the people who are around you, if they need that kind of a justice system. Because now, because so many things are broken, we have reached a juncture where I'm personally part of a lot of DAOs, and DAOs, they are independent bodies. They're not governed by any government, but they resolve the issues by drafting these smart contracts. So if you have any problem statement or anything, you can just put it in the comment box, and our team, who are AI bots, who are chat bots, who are real people, will intervene. And if we feel that our intervention is needed, we will resolve the issue. Otherwise, we don't get into anybody else's protocol. That is how it should be. So right now I'm in IST time zone. It is 11:35 a.m. So I will just walk you through this stuff. So we are going through method and system for intentional computing. This is the one you need to review right now. This is basically talking about the interoperability standards. Otherwise, I'll just open it in the interface. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I have few data sets. I think these are interesting. Let me see how many I can provide here. So let's see this. Okay, particularly what is happening with this application is what is I don't want to do this. Okay, again, it's a serverless function. Let's see. So this system is actually catering. I'll probably go in detail as a article also. So this is talking about the resource interfaces that has at least one party. So we need to see how they have defined the word party first of all, and which is doing a standardization for a computing requirement, having the storage volumes, the CPU pools, the CPU, GPU accelerators, which is serverless function, and the message queues. Uh, that is there, and then we have okay. What are the function of the interfaces? This is basically talking about different underlying resources, which is properly for different vendors or cloud regions and can work together to interoperate. And it has single API or set of APIs that can query, provision, reconfigure, tear down any resource without the caller needing to learn. So the caller doesn't need to learn the resource specific CLIs or SDKs. Now this is policy driven access. The same API call says attach volume or run function can succeed, fail, or return a subset of fields depending on the caller roles while still conforming to the schema um, defined by the interoperability standards. So the vendor neutrality and portability is here. Swapping one provider's implementation for another. That means moving from AWS S3 to Azure Blob does not require code changes as long both providers comply with the standards. So the folks who are part of this protocol need to understand the standardization properly, but that has nothing to do with the Impola network. This is totally something which is there in the public domain. The new resource types are particularly confidential compute enclaves, which has quantum simulators, can be added by creating a new resource interface that inherits and aligns with the same standards and existing orchestration tooling continues to work. So this is done, blah, blah, blah. Let's see what we have. So the bottom line is we need to have a concise prior art package that speaks directly to both standardization resources interface and rule-based interoperability, which starts with, of course, I just figured out a few of the pattern applications, which I'll give in the article format in a while. And what we need to do here is, okay, this is quite clued right now. So just look into this aspect, and I think we should be good for now. I mean, even this protocol, if we can have for the white web, because obviously now we have the protocol, or we have identified the at least one subset of the player in the dark web, which is coming from Bank of Maharashtra. And Bank of Maharashtra means Maharashtra itself, which includes the political parties, which includes the Bollywood, which includes individual actors, which includes anything and everyone. That has to be questioned. And all these dating apps, the government of India needs to block those. I mean, even the government people are on the app. I don't understand why. If they're part of the government, they shouldn't be on the app and trying to get the data set. So this is how they have been infiltrating into the data aspects, and that is the reason um, GDPR is the need and the answer to the unanswered questions. Because operability has the main crux right now. I think anything else I would like to discuss, I'll just look into it. Uh, let's see. There's something. Okay. Look into this application also. This is also nice. I wouldn't say nice. It's cube smart. Uh, this is basically talking about. Let's see. Um, ServiceNow Inc. Okay, that was filed in 22, published in 25, and it relates data augmentation for intent classification. Dum dum dum. Let's see. I'll just look into what are they trying to figure out in terms of the GPT-3s. They are using BERT model, that is bidirectional encoder representative from transformers model. Okay, let's look into this. I think I have enough data sets for today. I have already given the data set which needs to be worked on. Look into these BERT model and figure out for your own self. Thank you for watching another video. Have a great day ahead.